Welcome back to Skill Up Bastion channel. In this video, we are going to discuss how to use AWS instance as a Bastion host. So if you are using EC2 instance as a Bastion host, there are a lot of advantages. You need not have any additional tools installed on your machine to connect to these instances. You can directly connect to the Bastion host just from your web browser. I'll show you how to do that. And also not only connecting to the Bastion host, you can also access all the backend systems, which is in your private subnet through this Bastion host, and only this Bastion host will have access to these servers. So how do we restrict that access? So we have to use the security group to allow traffic on port 22 or port 3389 only from the Bastion server. So I'll show you the demo. And behind the scenes, so AWS has got this instance connect feature, right? So when you log into the EC2 instance, you get multiple options to connect to the instance. So I'll tell you like behind the scenes how the instance connect work. So there is a permission, there is a IAM policy that enables this permission. So when you are a user who try to log into a particular EC2 instance, it will validate whether you have the permission to send the SSH key. If you have the permission, then it will store the SSH key on the server under the instance metadata for 60 seconds. And for security reason, after 60 seconds, that key will be cleared from the instance metadata. But you can continue to log into the system and work for the time until you have active activities going on. So once it reaches the idle time or idle timeout, then the session will disconnect. That is different. But whenever you log into the systems, if you have the permission to send the SSH key, you will be able to go and store it in the instance metadata and you will be able to log in. If you don't have permission to send the instance or SSH key, access will be denied. I'll show you how that works behind the scene. So if you go to your EC2 instances, or if you go to your IAM directly, I'll show you where exactly the policy is present. If you go to IAM, under the IAM, you've got these policies, and you can search for EC2 instance connect. Okay, so this is the policy that has got that permission. So what is that permission that I'm talking about? Sending the SSH key to the server. If you go and look at the permission here, see it has got this write permission. So when you connect using the instance connect, behind the scene, the user will send the SSH public key onto the server and it will get stored in the instance metadata. And after 60 seconds, it will automatically get removed for security reason. So I'll show you how this works. So I've got two systems, one front-end server that is on the public subnet. It has got public IP as well as private IP. I've got one more machine on the private subnet, and this machine doesn't have a public IP address, so I cannot access it from the internet. And again, this machine has got security group configuration that will allow only traffic from the front-end subnet, and that too from the Bastion server. Okay, now let us connect to the front-end server using the instant connect option. If you select this connect option, it will give you 4 different options to connect to AWS EC2, and out of which the very first option is what we were talking about, the instance connect. If I click on connect, it will log into the system using this connection, and during this connection, it validates whether you have the permission to send the SSH key. Yeah, if you have the permission, you will get this prompt. And once after you have logged in, you can just directly go and log into the backend system. So in order to log into the backend system, you have to definitely have the PIM file or the key that has to be stored here. You can also use the same send SSH push method, but I'll show you how you can quickly solve this problem on how to connect to the backend system. I'm using the AWS stand prod nv PIM file. I'm just copying the content from here. You can give any name you want. So you can just go to the editor, visual editor or nano editor, and you can just create some file, okay, stand private key or something like that. It need not be the same name, it can be any name, and you can just go and insert and then paste the content there. Ensure that you don't have any additional unwanted characters into that. Now if you want to use this file, you should have the read permission or the read execute permission on this particular file. Since I'm not a root user yet, I can just modify the permission just to give the user with read and execute permission. I'm not giving any permission for the group, and I'm not giving any permission for the others. I'm giving 0 for group as well as others. For which file? For this stand private key file. So once the file is created, you can try and log into the backend system using this file, and you can just say EC2-user at the rate of the backend system IP address. What is the IP address of the backend systems? This system doesn't have a public IP address. I have to use the private IP address. It is completely in a different private subnet. I can just give the private IP subnet here. The IP address from the private subnet, and wow, I'm logged into the backend system here. So you can also do one thing. I can just exit from the system. I'll also show you where exactly the instance metadata gets stored for the instance connect public key. So this is the exact location where it gets stored. So we call this IP address as the instance metadata IP or IMDS IP. And using this IP, you can go and get all the metadata information that is there on the EC2 platform level. See, if you want to go and check the currently active keys on the system, you can copy and paste it. Since it is already 60 seconds,